The last time I had a trophy in the booth, you were interviewing me.
Yeah.
And so, how does it feel, Ben, when you saw your opening 6 cards in that third game? You look down, and your hand is Land, Ancient Tomb, Grim Monolith, Hive Mind, Pact of the Titan, Intuition. You have the actual. If you want to, you can Hive Mind on turn 2, and then you set up. You play perfectly for that game. In turn 3, you set up the triple pack.
We're sitting behind the booth, and when you didn't go for it on turn 2, we're just like, "What's going on? What are we missing?"
Like,
we didn't see the line.
He has days in his deck.
Yeah, then we realized that during his second turn that you found the exact line.
See, here's what I was thinking when I had that. I was thinking what Tom Ma told me on Facebook chat this week, which is make sure you have 2 things to protect before you go off.
Yeah.
So I couldn't do anything.
One days beats you.
Yeah, one thing beats me. I need to have him have 3 things, right?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and you just had the perfect cards. We saw you drop pretty well in this top 8, but to your credit, I mean, you played properly and you got lucky when you needed to get lucky, but that's how it goes. I mean, your opponent missed a kill or in round.
Yeah, I screwed up. That shouldn't have happened.
Oh, really? What happened?
So I brainstormed the previous turn that turn to draw very luckily to draw Show and Tell and Hive Mind. And I hid one of my other packs, my Slaughter pack. So if I had not hidden my Slaughter pack, if I was thinking straight, I could have played that and then Slaughter packed one of his guys. Played the other Pact of the Titan, Slaughter packed one of his guys, so he could have paid.
The one thing I want to ask you about, though, is in the, was it top 8 match? No, it was the top 4 match, where you would have lost, your opponent had you beat game 1, the green, black, white.
Right.
What were you thinking? Is that what you were saying?
Yeah, that's what we were talking about. I mean, I didn't see it until Cedric mentioned to me after the match that I just screwed it up. And then Tim Ayton Facebook messaged me saying, I'd like to think that my tokens distracted him from seeing that he could have won. So.
Buying all those Tim Ayton Pro Player cards. Buying Star City Games out of Tim Ayton Pro Player cards.
That's what, Noah, my brother, did.
Comes to its advantage every now and then, right? So your Hive Mind list is fairly stocky. Did Tom Ma give you the list? Or?
Yeah, I meant to change the board to pretty much what Chris Van Meter was playing.
Angel's Grace one, right?
Yeah, there were no Angel's Graces that I could buy in the room within a certain amount of time. So
didn't need them.
You think Angel's Grace is the place to go with this deck now?
Yeah, I think that it's one of the top 3 decks in the format, and if you want to win the mirror match is kind of insane. So I'm glad I didn't have to face it today.
Yeah, I mean we were watching the semifinal match, and if Chris Van Meter beats out Sean Ryan, you're such a dog in that match because he has the 4 Angels Graces.
He was able to buy that card.
Anything you'd change?
I kind of want to maybe tighten up the main deck a little bit, but it's all at Tom's discretion. I can't change any cards without him yelling at me. So, but the sideboard, I think you definitely want Angel's Grace going into the future because Hive Mind, I think it should get a little more popular, and it just breaks it open, the mirror open.
How did you feel about your matchups in general? For example, No Reg was the deck I thought it looked pretty favorable for you on paper, but I mean Sean Ryan, we thought he might be a No Reg killer. Beat 3 in a row, and then came close to beating you if you didn't have basically the perfect draw in game 3. I mean, do you think that matchup needs to be shored up at all, or you think that it's okay on its own?
I think that it's pretty difficult depending on the level of player you're playing against. Sean played really well, but when I was playing today, I played against a number of other blue decks. And they just didn't seem as difficult as I thought they should be, right?
Sure.
It's normally when you play combo deck, they have Force Will, you're in trouble.
Right.
I mean, Rug has the added advantage of having a quick clock with something like Vendilion Click. But I think that maybe something should be done with that matchup, but I don't know what. Slaughter Pact, I don't think does enough in the matchup. I think it was lucky to know his list because I knew he didn't have Jace, so I could just keep my Emrakul's in.
And you knew he had Daze, which is a big one to play around. Yeah. We saw him just days basically out of the Hive Mind players, and it worked really well for him. And in the finals, if you don't know his deck list, if you don't know he has Daze there, you might have played totally differently.
For sure.
So let's say we live in some magical fantasy alternate universe where Tom Ma doesn't exist, and
oh boy,
and you're trying to modify the Hive Mind deck. It seemed like your sideboard was kind of weak on the day. You didn't sideboard too many cards, and now understand your main deck is pretty tight. You can't do a lot.
Yeah.
But what would you change in your sideboard if you just had to say? I understand you and Tom worked on this together, and he has a lot of experience with the deck.
For sure.
But what would you change after sideboarding?
Maybe the Spell Pierces have to go. That's clearly the slot that you can change. It's unclear whether or not you want that 3rd Slaughter Pack. You probably do. Leylines can go or stay, but I think they're pretty good, especially against the discard decks. If the deck I played in the first round of top 8, the Junk with Dark Depths becomes more popular. Decks with discard, you need them against. Mental Misstep is also a slot you can change. That before was Mindbreak Trap. Ben Weinberg played the deck with Mindbreak Trap instead of Mental Misstep. So, I mean, those slots can kind of change, but you definitely want like 3 of those 4 set in stone and just change one of them depending on what the metagame is.
Yeah, definitely. How does it feel to have a trophy?
Feels great.
Do you feel like you can compare it to your brother now with his gigantic?
I mean, he only has a plaque. I guess he does have a trophy, but
pretty awesome.
It feels sweet. I don't know how I'm going to get back home, but we'll see about that.
Just carry it with you on the airplane. Speaking of getting back home, are you going to be at any of the other Open Series coming up soon?
I'm thinking I might be at the one in Boston on the 20th because I have to move in for school around then.
Oh, cool.
I might go to the one in Los Angeles. Other than that, I'm not sure. I'm definitely going to go to the Invitational now. If there's any other ones close in the East Coast and I don't have too much schoolwork this year, for sure go. I don't think I'm going to Pittsburgh next weekend.
Fair enough. So Tama, like as you've worked on the deck a lot, Tama's kind of a master of the deck. He probably gave you some good advice. Can you relay it to anybody at home? Like, what were the key aspects of playing Hive Mind all day for you? Like, what were the things that you were doing that the other Hive Mind players just weren't doing?
Yeah, so the big thing is what I said earlier, that you have to have 2 pieces to protect your combo, which when Tom told me that, it seemed sort of counterintuitive, like, oh, they'll never have it. If you're playing Deceiver, Exarch, Twin in Standard, you don't need that much protection. That's definitely an important thing. The other thing is playing your draw spells correctly, like Brainstorm and Ponder. You get to see a huge amount of cards with those 2 cards, and being able to see as many cards as possible, getting the pieces that you need. The other thing is just kind of being cautious. The thing I like about the deck is like it's like assembling a puzzle when you're playing it. You're trying to figure out all the things that your opponent could have and try to figure out how you fit into that puzzle and making sure that you win when you try to go off is an important thing. So I would say take a bunch of practice hands, Goldfish a lot, get the feel of the deck. Mulliganing is important. The deck mulligans pretty well, I believe.
Well, we saw you mulligan 4 times and you won all those games.
Yeah, so just you really have to, you have to be a little comfortable with the deck, but once you're playing, you have to start thinking a lot and try to piece together everything. So,
do you have any questions for Ben Brad?
No, I think you covered everything.
All right, well, hey, Ben, look, congratulations again. It was great having you out this weekend, watching you play all weekend. It's great to have you on camera and we weren't getting crushed. Like yesterday we watched you and we felt really bad.
Not fun.
It's like you got crushed by Tempered Steel. So today, able to show a little bit more off, a couple matches under the camera. Absolute congratulations. Good work.
Yeah, good job, dude.
We'll be seeing you around to more Open Series events in the future, I hope.
For sure.
Take care, Ben. Enjoy the trophy and enjoy all the prize money, too.
Thanks.
And that's
the weekend.
That is the weekend.